Hello and welcome back to Football Daily, where we're looking at 10 of the biggest players to turn down the chance to play in the Premier League. Warning, this list contains excessive interest from Manchester United, obviously. 10. Antoine Griezmann. Having joined Atletico Madrid in 2014, awarded a place alongside Messi and Ronaldo in the La Liga team of the season in his very first term, Antoine Griezmann has scored double figures in every league campaign since his arrival. Last season, he contributed 19 goals and 9 assists in just 32 appearances, meaning that while his natural goal-scoring ability is thriving, he is now setting up more for his teammates too. The 27-year-old World Cup winner revealed with a dramatic social media post that he had decided to stay at Atletico in June 2018, signing a new 4-year deal with the Europa League winners. His decision meant that he became one of the few to reject a move to the new camp, as well as the option to play in the Prem. Manchester United were widely reported to have offered his release clause of €100 million in the hopes of bringing the Frenchman to England. Former Liverpool forward Iago Aspas even said that he believed it would be difficult for Griezmann to turn down the big English clubs. However, the number 7 who idolised David Beckham as a child didn't seem to find it too difficult, adding the Prem to his list of rejected leagues alongside the Bundesliga and Ligue 1. Griezmann stated that he was always a fan of watching the English top flight, as refs allowed the games to flow and the stadiums were always full, but as usual, his main concern was the weather. Fair enough, Antoine. 9. Marco Reus. It's been 3 seasons since Borussia Dortmund's Marco Reus last managed 20 Bundesliga starts in a campaign. But the 2018-19 season has started more positively, with an impressive 4 goals and 2 assists in just 7 appearances. Captain in a young lineup consisting of Jacob Bruun-Larsen and Christian Pulisic, as well as Jadon Sancho, the 29-year-old German now takes up a senior role in his hometown club. Should Reus stay in Dortmund for the rest of his career, he'll join the likes of Maldini, Gerrard and Totti as homegrown legends. And much like the others on that list, Reus has turned down some huge moves to stay faithful. In 2017, rumours surrounding a move to the Premier League for the Germans started gathering momentum, with the interested parties being Arsenal and Manchester United. A number of German media outlets even reported that Jose Mourinho harboured hopes of signing Reus as a replacement for Rooney when he returned to Everton, and made tentative inquiries with BVB. However, Reus hasn't been tempted to switch to the Prem or even La Liga, rejecting a €25 million bid from Atletico to stay put at the Westfalenstadion. 8. Gonzalo Higuain. With the arrival of CR7, Gonzalo Higuain saw his place in the Juventus line disappear, taking a loan away from Turin to Milan in the summer of 2018. In the process of moving across Italy, the former Napoli and Real Madrid striker rejected a move to play under Maurizio Sarri, as well as the opportunity to live in London that often acts as a pulling factor for foreign players. Calcio Mercato reported that in July 2018, Chelsea had made an interesting offer to the old lady of Alvaro Morata plus €55 million in turn for the 30-year-old striker and Matteo Caldara. However, not tempted by the bright lights of London and reluctant to move across the channel, it was an easy decision for Higuain to stick to Serie A and choose Milan instead. After his loan deal was confirmed, he stated that I have huge respect for Sarri, but he was the only one who wanted me at Chelsea. Here at Milan, everyone wanted me. We can understand why he might well have had reservations about becoming another underwhelming striker in front of the less than charming Stamford Bridge regulars. 7. Karim Benzema. At the time of writing, Real Madrid striker Karim Benzema is on average scoring every other game in the 18-19 season, having taken on more responsibility from Cristiano Ronaldo now that he has settled in Turin. A vital cog in the squad that won 3 consecutive Champions Leagues, Benzema has a total of 44 Champions League goals. As part of the famous BBC front three, Benzema shared 76 goals with CR7, more than double the joint goal participation of anyone else in the Los Blancos squad, followed by the 24 shared between Benzema and Gareth Bale. But just over a decade ago, if Sir Alex Ferguson had had his way, Benzema could be playing with the likes of Anthony Martial and Alexis Sanchez instead. In 2009, Benzema revealed that United were one of the clubs chasing his signature, stating that Manchester United, Inter Milan and Barcelona had all contacted him. But instead, he opted to head to the Bernabeu, as it had been his dream since he was just 15 years old. While we're sure the 30-year-old's trophy cabinet is pretty pleased with the decision, we're gutted that we never got to see how Benzema would have handled the demands of the Premier League. 6. Kaka. Kaka remains the last winner of the Ballon d'Or before the era of the Messi-Ronaldo duopoly. Having bookended his 4 years at Real Madrid with stints at AC Milan, his illustrious career saw him gain a La Liga and Serie A title as well as the Champions League winners' medal in 2007. However, before he made his move to Madrid, he was the target of Sheikh Mansour's Manchester City. Having just taken over at Eastlands, the Abu Dhabi group were ready to inject funds into the club. Following the 2008 record signing of Robinho for £32 million and then the controversial capture of former United forward Carlos Tevez, next on their hit list was AC's Kaka. According to The Guardian, City have proposed a £91 million deal to the Italian club for the former World Footballer of the Year, double that of Zinedine Zidane's then record fee. While Silvio Berlusconi was rumoured to be keen to accept the deal to erase the club's debts, Kaka had no intention of moving to England. 2,000 Milan fans had gathered outside Kaka's flat to try and convince him to stay, and he confirmed his intentions by going to the window and pointing to his heart. The touching gesture left City to announce they had terminated discussions. Unfortunately for the Rossoneri faithful, his actions weren't echoed when Real Madrid came calling a year later to make him the most expensive player in world football at £56 million. 5. Diego Godin. In the summer transfer window of 2018, Jose Mourinho went into meltdown as he publicly denounced the quality of Manchester United's backline and unsuccessfully targeted 9 different centre-backs. Holding one of the top spots on the Portuguese's wish list was Atletico's defensive stalwart Diego Godin. Having first joined Los Rojiblancos in 2010, the now 32-year-old has been a regular in Simeone's stoic defence, averaging 30 starts a season since the 2013 campaign. The red half of Manchester reportedly made an offer of just £22.5 million, hoping to trigger the Uruguayan's release clause, but he opted to stay at his current club and reject Mourinho, United, as well as the Premier League. But it wasn't the first time Godin declined a Premier League move, or the opportunity to play in Manchester. In fact, in 2015, Manuel Pellegrini attempted to buy his former Villarreal player, hoping he would add some defensive nous to his attack-minded City. However, Godin claimed that it was not his time to leave Madrid for English shores. 4. Gigi Buffon. Gigi Buffon ended his reign as king of Juventus in the summer of 2018 when he left Turin for Paris after almost 20 years of service. Arguably the best and certainly one of the most reliable goalkeepers of his generation, Buffon was ever present in the old lady's goalmouth since his arrival in 2001. The only blemish on his sparkling career is his inability to win the Champions League. The now 40-year-old is still competing at the very top, averaging 2.1 saves per 90, having conceded just 14 goals and keeping 12 clean sheets in his final season in Italy. However, it turns out he could have been saving defensive woes in the Premier League should he have had a change of heart in Turin. In fact, there were 3 serious times that English clubs approached the stopper. Manchester United and Arsenal opened discussions whilst he was a youngster at Parma, and later Manchester City when their pockets got heavier in 2008. Since Buffon made the decision to join Juventus, Arsenal have had 17 different keepers between the sticks. Now that makes it pretty hard to contemplate how lethal Arsene Wenger's reign could have been if he had landed the Italians' loyalties in North London in 2001. And whether or not Buffon in goal and not Jens Lehmann, both club and keeper would have got their hands on that missing Champions League. 3. Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho had a career that stretched over almost 2 decades, playing for 8 different clubs in 5 different countries and scoring a total of 167 goals. Having started his career in his home nation of Brazil playing for Grêmio, the buck-toothed star switched to PSG in 2001. But it was the 2002 World Cup that thrust Ronaldinho into the spotlight. Having seen his outrageous talent, it was yet again Sir Alex Ferguson who tried to tempt the PSG player to the theatre of dreams. In 2003, David Beckham was on his way out of Old Trafford, and at the top of his replacement wish list was the Brazilian. And get this, PSG had actually accepted a £30 million bid from the Premier League winners before Barcelona swooped in and hijacked the deal. However, that wasn't the only time that the Ballon d'Or winner rejected the opportunity to be tested on a rainy evening at Stoke. In 2016, a story online broke that now a free agent, Ronaldinho declined the opportunity to join Claudio Ranieri's Leicester City. Now let that sink in. Ronaldinho could indeed have played alongside Jamie Vardy and won a Premier League title. 2. Paolo Maldini. In the summer of 2018, Paolo Maldini returned to AC Milan after an awkward 9-year absence to take on the new role as sporting strategy and development director at the San Siro. The appointment announced on #Maldini Day, cringe, the former captain and 5-time Champions League winner is now a vital figure behind the scenes, with his new role meaning that he is closely involved with the first team, youth team, transfers and with head coach Gattuso. Having spent his entire career with the Rossoneri, he won 5 major trophies including 7 Serie A titles. Whilst a difficult relationship with some of Milan's ultras made him a more peripheral figure in recent years, his loyalty to the club cannot come into question. According to the versatile defender though, he was approached by 3 different Premier League clubs, and despite the money and the glamour of the English top flight in the noughties, nothing could tear him away from his childhood club, stating that "I was born in Milan, for me it was best to play in Milan." 1. Kylian Mbappe. At the time of writing, 19-year-old Kylian Mbappe is averaging a totally obscene 2 goals per 90 minutes in the French top flight. His ridiculous 4 goals in 13 minutes, which I was lucky enough to see in the flesh against Lyon, might put those figures into slight skew, but his output, skill, pace and physicality make him a frightening prospect for defenders across Europe. The young Frenchman has been named a finalist for the Ballon d'Or after 2018 saw him win a domestic treble with PSG and a World Cup winners medal in Russia. Before agreeing his switch from Monaco to Paris, the Frenchman held talks with Arsenal and Chelsea. Not only did he reject the possibility of training at the Blues' academy, but Mbappe also admitted that after firing Monaco to a Ligue 1 title, he met with Arsene Wenger. Despite Wenger's reputation in his homeland as an excellent coach with the ability to progress youthful talent, Mbappe opted to stay in Ligue 1. Shock, Wenger got rejected. Now undoubtedly one of the best players on the planet, his name is at the epicenter of transfer rumours and still linked to the biggest clubs in the game. So we don't think this will be the final time Kylian will par off the Premier League.
Hey guys, you just caught me in the middle of doing a lot of work. Why don't you go watch all of our other videos to make me a happy boy?